Listen up here. The restaurant industry is grueling and unpredictable, just like this show, from the front of the house to the back of the house and all in between. We will turn up the heat, you turn up the volume. I'm Chef Antonio Caruana. Welcome to the Tell All Podcast, the Burnt Hands Perspective.
This podcast contains explicit and potentially offensive material. You've been warned. Now buckle up, bitches. Let's go.
Okay, listen to this. The Italian movement is real here.
It is.
We got the Italian connection. Matter of fact, we're all first generation in a sense, and fucking even more so, right?
Yeah.
So here's what we hear. This episode's gonna be fun because you guys are full on Italian heritage, all cooked together. We've all cooked together here. You all work greatly underneath in my kitchen, and it's fucking amazing. So we have a long history. But first of all, we're gonna talk about a couple things today. Right?
What are we gonna talk about?
We're gonna talk about the Italian-American fucking food versus Italy's food and the misconception, right? And that's the biggest thing. We're going to talk about the Italian language in American. Where did it come from? How?
Yeah.
Meaning madone, gabagool, fucking mortadella, galamad, right? What else? Pasta di mar. What else?
Ganouls,
basta chalk.
Yeah.
You know, the sfogliatelle. Prosciutto. What else? Pasta fazool.
Pasta fazool.
Pasta fazool.
That's a big one.
So these are the things we're going to talk about and kind of where they come from, right?
Yes.
So mariner. And the spaghetti. Everything's spaghetti. Everything's spaghetti. Pasta, rigatoni with sauce, spaghetti. Gravy. And what the fuck is the gravy, right? So this is what we're going to talk about. It's going to be fun.
This is going to be a learning experience for me.
So I want you guys to introduce yourself real quick, and I'm going to show you how diverse we are, but yet we are from the same fucking place in a sense, because all of our fucking families from the same boot, right? Yep. So it's not like we're generations removed here.
Yeah,
we have direct lineage, and Enzo here in the middle literally became an American citizen yesterday.
Yep. Cheers.
For real, congratulations. You were studying that. You were proud of that. I remember how watching him getting excited and nervous about it, right? And my father got his, they went and got it. It's got to be nerve-wracking. Because it's a whole new culture. It'd be like me going to Italy, even though I've gone there since I was young, and I go there often more as an adult. It's you still have to learn. You don't learn that shit. I can go to Italy 100 times a year, and when are you focusing on the historical balance of Italy? Right? We're not looking at who the president is, and we don't do that when we go to Italy. And when you come to America, you're not looking to what a senator does in the preamble and the bill,
stuff like that. No,
you're not looking for it. So when you come here, you have to learn something you've never even expected, right? So congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So with that being said, we're gonna tear this shit up because we have some stuff to say. All right, you're gonna probably do a lot of smiling.
So I'm just gonna sit back because this is like the tables are turned. Because if now we have like all men and I just get to sit back and watch Italian guys talk. And I'm only a quarter. My family is from Italy as well, but yes,
but you know,
I'm 2 generations removed.
But your palate says it all, though.
Yes,
you speak with the Italian tongue when you eat and everything else.
Yes,
and your mouth, you like that too, so it works. You're
what
right.
That mouth do?
You're right in there. With that mouth do. You know what I'm saying? With that mouth do. So, Andrea, go ahead and introduce yourself, where you come real quick from, and then we'll go down the line.
So I'm Andrea Di Carlo, originally from Brooklyn, New York, moved to Virginia in 1988. We opened up a family restaurant, cooked in it. Me and Tony cooked for a long time, became good friends. That's about it. I used to spend all my summers in Italy, every summer until I was about 13, so speak it fluently. Love food, love the culture. I mean, it's embedded in me, so.
It's the only culture.
That's the only
to love
culture.
Something else would be loving something else.
Exactly.
We are who we are, right?
Exactly,
so,
100%.
Go ahead, Enzo.
I'm a Vincenzo Di Mano, and I come here 10 years ago, and I love this place. I love being in America. It was my dream, and I finally, yesterday, I got all my documents and to be good and to continue this.
So you're on it. So Enzo's the guy that comes into town, fucking Mr. Italy, all sexy with his long hair and his abs and his six packs and his mom, everybody American dream, and you know he's just a Vespa short of the actual fucking story, right? We need to get you a Vespa, bro.
Yeah.
No?
Where did you?
Yeah, nice Vespa.
Vespa.
Yeah.
Get you a scooter just for here in Summit Point. It's okay.
Yeah, right here, just ride around. So, what about yourself?
My name is Sebastiano. I was born here in Northern Virginia. I'm first generation Sicilian. I've been in the restaurant business my whole life. My family, when they came here from Sicily, they've been doing restaurants, and that's just what I love to do.
And you're
working for you for a while.
Pizza's your game.
Pizza, yeah.
So your family's in the pizza
everything. We started out with the pizza, and
of course, the Sicilian pizza connection. We all know what this is. We all know what's going on around here.
Something like that. But it's in my blood. I love to cook, and
so now your game is pasta. Now you're strong on the pasta. So Seb makes all. He's in charge of our pasta program, making all the fresh pastas, the homemade pastas, the actual pasta. Enzo steps in when he's off. So on down the line. The last person who wants to touch it anymore is me. So hopefully that you guys' team stays strong. But if I have to get in there again, I will. But however, of course, everybody knows me. I'm Chef Antonio Caruana. This is our Burnt Hands Perspective podcast with Kristen Crawley. And we're about to get into some fun shit right now about this. Everybody knows and follows me as a chef. My accolades are out there. Just Google my name and figure it out. And I appreciate all the support going into this. So what do you want to talk about first, Andrea? This is what I want to talk about. Let me hear what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
I mean, there's so much. There's so much to talk about. Coming into the podcast, I was thinking about sitting next to Enzo, that's from Naples, and me and Seba from Sicily, how in any other part of Italy besides Naples and Sicily, if you ask them, they say Italian. Oh, I'm from Italy. But if you ask someone from Sicily, from Naples, we're not Italian. I'm Sicilian, he's from Naples. So it's almost like a subculture.
My father would say Roma. So
yeah,
it's different. It's different. South to north is very different.
Yeah, sure, of course. So the further north you go, you're getting a lot more of that Deutschland, German, Austrian, French even. If you're going up towards Piemonte in Milano, that has got a lot more French influence because you're bordering the French colonies up there. Yes. And a lot of the food and the influence comes together. So you have that corridor where you can go to Nice, France, and experience some really good, if not the best, Italian food, right? Whereas if you go up towards Piemonte, you get a lot of France infusion and influence, right? Yeah. If you go towards the other side, you're going to get a lot of the Austrian influence when you're up top, right? Yeah. You move down towards the middle. To me, I don't say it's middle, it's more south, but when you go into Napoli and Roma and stuff like that, you're going to get the pure Italian where you get a little bit of the south. You start creeping up into the middle, and now it just becomes Italian, where the kingdoms were before Italy was a country. Yeah. Am I right? You can correct this better than me. I'm trying to go for my Italian citizenship over here. Okay. So that's what it is. So when you go to Napoli, Roma, you're going to get a much more true experience. Now, when you get down towards Calabria and the southern part of the boot of Italy, you're going to get some of that Tunisian, Northern African type of influence starting to touch the food, which we know consists of what? Pepper, spice, you know what I mean? Brightness, sunshine,
almonds
right?
And nuts.
Almonds, nuts, all those things that
stuff like that.
What is it, bro?
Chickpeas.
Yeah, right, exactly. The saffron. All that stuff that's kind of influenced from the south. So just as you go to the south of Italy, getting influence from that part of the world, you go to the north and get influence from that part of the world, making it the fucking best food to me in the world. Okay.
Yeah, true.
And what most people don't understand is when we go out, people go out for Italian food. So people ask me, is Italian food your favorite food? Listen, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. Chinese people don't go out for Chinese. They go out to eat. They eat, right? So at home, they're like, I bet you eat Italian food all the time. Yeah. Call it what you want, but pasta is pasta. It's Italian food by your judgment because you don't eat it all the time. Yeah. So they go out for Italian food, right? Yeah. We just eat. Yeah. Right? We just eat. Yep. We go out for Vietnamese food. We go out for American food. We go out for cheeseburgers. We go out for all that stuff, right? To us, it's not Italian food. It's food, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone else coming to this restaurant is coming for Italian food because we're producing the food that we eat.
Yeah. And you do it differently here.
And we do it differently. So here, what we try and do, and this is where I want to touch base with you guys, because you all have a different background in cooking and your experience with food, right? So my touch on things is I travel around Italy. I'm inspired by the different regions, right? And I get inspired to try and stick to those regions and the rules of them best I can while trying to satisfy the knowledge of the American people. So let's get into the subject. This is the fun one. Italian-American food. Yeah. Italian-American food. So
it already starts laughing.
Now, the Italians that come here.
Yeah.
It's despicable.
Like you think it's disgusting.
You know what I mean? It's no good. right? Mouchard, everything's junk.
Yeah.
So you have that's the Italian version of this, right? So, and there's understandable why. So when we're calling it gabagool and it's not even close, say it. Capicolo. Prosciutto. Parmigiano Reggiano. These are things. Where's the parmesan? Parmesan. You know, I understand. They don't understand the language. They don't get it. I get it deviates from the original core, right?
Yeah.
Where it came from. So we have things like mortadella, right? Mortadella goes back centuries, right? Long time ago. In that one little area, that one kingdom, typically in Bologna, Italy, where it comes from. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay, so let's fast forward now. Oscar Mayer, 1978. 1985, when I'm a kid, and a yellow packet comes out and it says Bologna. And people are calling it Bologna.
Bologna.
And then it calls bologna. See how the transition goes? We're going from mortadella. People came here from America. They didn't have the ingredients. So the Italians that came here from Bologna wanted their mortadella, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't produce the mortadella properly because they didn't have the same indigenous ingredients. If you're living in New York City back in the 1800s or early 1900s, where are you going to get the product to make mortadella, the fat, the pistachio, all that stuff? Where are you going to get it, right? You can't. So they made the closest thing to it, and it was called Bologna because it was the way of Bologna, the way of mortadella. So then along came the way of bologna, and then they changed it and Americanized it, and now bologna comes from mortadella, which comes from Bologna, which is now bologna. So see the transition here. Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand where Italian-American food got its history and why it is what it is, right? People say Fettuccine Alfredo. They want this. People do what you're doing. But let's think about it. It's not that bad for an American because it's what they're used to.
Yeah. That's their pilot, yeah.
What they tried to do at Alfredo's restaurant is it happened by accident. The history of it came along and it was really pleasing to the palate. No different than cacio e pepe, right? So cacio e pepe, beautiful cheese, two different versions, Parmesan Reggiano, Pecorino Romano, pepper, technique, okay? Yeah. Well, you can have the same technique, but you don't have the same ingredients back in 1965 or whenever it was that Alfredo was expensive. It was expensive. It was hard to get. So what do? They take the cheese that they have. You can't get the extracted cream because it's not that type of cheese. It's close, but it's not. So you have to add maybe a little bit of cream to make it like this. This is how trying to copy what they're used to, cacio e pepe. They've invented Fettuccine Alfredo because it wasn't the best, but they had to have something close. Yeah. American people ate it because they've never had cacio e pepe, and it's still good, but it's not cacio e pepe, right? It's not. So when people say, I want fettuccine Alfredo, I understand it, I get it, but I also understand where it came from, so I can respect it differently. You know what I mean? Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand that. Chicken Parmesan. There's no chicken Parmesan, bro. You can go to Rome right now. Is there chicken Parmesan in Rome?
No.
Or Napoli?
Doesn't exist in Italy.
It doesn't exist, no.
Alfredo, chicken parm, all this kind of food, American Italian food, doesn't exist.
So when you come here, it's a culture shock for you. 10 years ago, you came here.
10 years ago, and I got in one restaurant, they used to do this kind of American Italian. I was like, I read the menu, and I was like, Fettuccine Alfredo. What's Fettuccine Alfredo? I don't know.
Who the hell is Alfredo?
I don't know how to make it.
No.
Wow.
Take a little bit of butter and put this and put
then they put the nutmeg sometimes to do it right.
Like, what is this?
I'm sorry, but I don't know.
And then when you taste it, you're expecting cacio e pepe. You're getting this watered down version.
Yeah.
Creamy, thick.
Heavy, rich.
3 bites. Yeah.
One-dimensional.
But to people who've never had the real cacio e pepe, Fettuccine Alfredo is the second best thing. And they love it. So that's how this happens. So the difference between Italian-American food, even going back to pizza, Sab, you know what I mean? Going back to pizza. So pizza, you have Napoli pizza. This goes back a long time in history, right? And even in Italy, they have different variations of pizza. Yeah. There are some places in America, I feel, I won't brag, New Haven, Connecticut, where I'm from, has better pizza than anything I've had in Italy. And I travel the world and I eat. I'm a chef. I do it. I've gone to Italy very many times, and more times to count. and I still haven't found a pizza better than that. So is it because I'm from there and that's my origin? Is that where I started? It goes backwards the same way. So Italians come here and they're so stuck on what they know because it's where they started. Do I think New Haven pizza is the best because that's where I started and I'm trying to run a nostalgia?
I mean, my nonna, when she used to come here, she used to say New York style pizza. She loved it. She loved it better than back home. She was in love with it too.
Yeah.
I've been to Sicily.
New York style is kind of like a Romana pizza. It's more thin, more crunchy at the bottom.
The big
crust
slice
is not too fluffy.
Yeah.
So that's why, I like it too, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, of course. So it is good. It is good, but it has its place. But you're from Napoli, bro.
Pizza Napoletana.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You're never gonna convince you different, bro.
Yeah.
Forget it. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Different story, prickle, man,
Yeah, it's good. So now when I went to Napoli for the first time when I was exploring food, of course I've had it in my past, but I grew up on New Haven pizza. I didn't want pizza anywhere else because I was used to it a certain way, a style, right? When the first time I went to Naples, I had a pizza and it came to my table and right away, this is years ago, long time, I'm young. Right away, I look at this thing.
Sorry. I didn't mean to laugh at that. It just
That
happened.
hurt.
I'm sorry.
That hurt.
Sorry.
So I had this pizza, and it was so long ago. It was probably back in the old days when they were actually making pizza.
Making fire, with sticks.
So this came to my table, and I'm not gonna lie, I looked at it and I poked it like a fucking baby. What the hell's going on? It looked like a pastry. You know what I mean? It looked like a pastry. It didn't look like a pizza to me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cut or anything. And I'm like, what am I going to do?
Don't cut it.
No, they don't cut it. So I just take out, rip it. All the mozzarella falls off. Its sauce is all dripping everywhere. And I'm just eating this big dough. I'm like, and I'm trying to get my Pellegrino. I'm pounding it. I'm trying to get through this situation. And at the beginning, I didn't like it. It took me a long time to like it. Now I like it because I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm cultured now. I wasn't as cultured back then in that. I was just one way, you know?
Well, you're used to what you're used to.
Right. So now I get it, and that's what happened to me, is I ate that big dough ball, and it was just soggy. It just wasn't what I was used to, right? But the tomatoes, the cheese, and the basil
Everything
it was outstanding. So what did I do? I brought my punk ass here back then. Years went by, and I started trying to create a dough that, like the New Haven style or a New York style, with that style of sauce. And there's now a few people doing it, and it works well for me. But I think that Napoli dough is I'm still not used to that. It's so filling one slice. You know what I mean?
What do you temperature? They cook it so hot that it's like the dough puffs up and the toppings barely just get hot. And that's really the beauty of it, is the honoring the ingredients on there without like overheating or overcooking them.
Okay.
That's what I think too about
it. Is. There's a technique. And a lot of it has to do with the heat of your oven. And if that heat of the oven is off, Sab, tell me about this.
Absolutely. Come out like shit.
Comes out like shit. Your yeast, it doesn't rise right. It doesn't. You're going to burn the outside because it's too much oil is burning fast.
Stay white. It's going to be all weird. You get like a cracker.
Right.
There's all types of stuff, really.
So you have in New Haven, there's a few places that have been doing it since the 1920s. And the ovens are still running the same way. So the consistency is the same every single time. And that's the same way as it is in Naples, I'm sure. You know what I mean? You go to these places and they have, and there's certain places you go, and like here, there's certain places you don't go, even as a local, right? There's still shit there too.
There's still bad food.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think there's bad food in certain areas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some place they just do it but they don't try to how you said upgrade
update.
Yeah.
Update.
Modern.
They want to stay like
modernize
the same,
it.
you know what I mean? Like they want to leave it like that.
Yeah.
Right. But the traditions change. And people, as they grow, they experience more in the world, and their palates open up more. And they want more, and they experience more.
They want to try new things now.
Right. And I think what happened here in America with Italian food, Italian-American food, is it got so bastardized because people were making so much money off of it. Because you can put a mediocre Italian food out there, and it'd be okay.
Olive Garden.
Just put cheese, cream, and some ham with a tortellini that's been frozen for 7 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People don't care. Yeah.
You know, it comes out of the bag and half of it's white from the freezer burn. and they eat it because it's still going to be acceptable.
Yeah.
And it's still, for people who don't go out and eat it at all, there's still a lot of flavor in those components. Those ingredients just release things in your taste buds. It's simple math.
And they add more salt and they add things to make you keep eating it. Yeah. So
right.
That's the American sad diet. Yeah.
So I'm going to go down the line here. Growing up, you're going to see different things. And there's something that happened. Typical Sunday meal at your house.
Pasta forno, which is like little ring pastas with a bolognese ragu, peas, and you bake it like a lasagna. Spadini, veal wrapped, skewered with the Arica provolone inside and grilled. Awesome.
Those are good. So the spadini is like a spare. That's what. So it's the stick, almost like a skewer.
Yeah, like a skewer.
And they're rolled
you roll
on
the veal, stuff it.
It's fucking amazing.
Skewer it with bay leaves and you grill it. Yeah. And then for us, we own bakeries. So for us, cassata siciliana and cannolis literally on the table.
I'm gonna have a cassata coffin for you.
Yeah.
When you die.
When I die.
You're gonna be laying inside of it.
Cassata coffin. Yeah.
Nice.
If there's a tablecloth,
he's like nice.
If there's a tablecloth
he's
on the
singing
table,
that like nice.
Put a doily on it.
I like
yeah. Cassata's amazing. I mean, if there's a tablecloth on the table, there's a cassata and semolina bread. If there's not those two things, someone's walking to the store because dinner doesn't start till those two things at the table. Wow. That's pretty much what it was for us. Meatballs, like the ragu, people call the ragu with the meatballs and the sausage. We used to put pig's feet in it. We did that occasionally, but for us, it was weird because being first generation, like cutlets and chicken parm, my family in Italy doesn't eat it.
Yeah.
But all my family here in New York, including my uncles, are all first generation. Cutlets on the table, it's almost like a given. It has to be there for like sentimental reasons. So I think that has to do a lot with when everyone immigrated here, availability of ingredients, portability, for people that work in the coal mines or the factories. They want something that they can just put on a piece of bread and eat it. And I think part of it came from that. But we do it. But like we go to Italy, no cutlets on my aunt's table, nothing. But when you go to Brooklyn, to my uncle's house, there's always cutlets.
And that comes along that Italian-American deal. So we had the same thing. And I used to love going through my aunt's house, and it'd be the middle of the afternoon, and there'd be a plate of chicken cutlets with saran wrap over the top. Yeah. And they were room temperature. You just walk by, break a piece, put some lemon meat, and walk by. Exactly. But that smell of the breadcrumb would sit, and you'd have the little TV on in the kitchen, and you would always smell. You would smell the salt in the pasta water. Yeah. It resonates. And it was such a small period of my life because I was only a kid for this long. Yeah. You know what I mean? We were kids for this long. Yeah. And what happened to us resonates the rest of our life, as we know, good, bad, or indifferent, no matter what it is. But when it comes to Italian people, I can speak for myself that if you're this long of your life, this chapter as being a kid is this long compared to the 50 years I've been alive, 7 or 8 of them were I didn't understand what it was, but it made me who I am now. The smells, the vibrance, the just the energy of it, the listening to the memory. Yeah. There's something to be said when you take the sauce and you have the sauce and you put the ravioli on the table in a bowl. You smell the ricotta inside the pasta. You can smell this. Yeah. I could walk in your house and know what you're cooking now, or what you know now your mom or anybody's cooking. I'm making because I can smell it when I'm walking in the door. Yeah. They got sausage and broccoli rabe over here going on. You fucking shit me. You walk down the street in Brooklyn or any little Italy area and you could smell what they're cooking inside. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want to go in there and do a house, what do you call it? A home invasion on that ass.
Breaking and entering.
Yeah. So what about you on a Sunday at home growing up?
Sunday, Naples.
Yeah.
But in Naples, it's like crazy because it's like every Sunday meal, you got to sacrifice yourself. Because it's a lot of food. You start with prosciutto, mozzarella. You start smelling the ragu that mom make. And then
when you wake up in the morning, you smell
with the bread. Before you start eating, you go with the bread in the sauce.
Yeah, of course.
You start eating all the.
They smack your hands.
Yeah.
Not a spoon, not anything.
The fuck
Don't
out
eat
of
it.
Right there,
Prosciutto, mozzarella, gnocchi in the oven baked with mozzarella. Nice mozzarella from Naples.
Of course. Bufala, yeah.
Salsiccia, friarielli, bracciole, tracchiulelle, cotica di maiale. That's all in the ragu.
Come on, man.
And salsiccia, friarielli, parmigiana, a lot of food, like dessert, fruit, everything. like you start like at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
You finish around 7
Every Sunday.
every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
And,
And that's the best.
By 9 o'clock, you start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
you start eating all
biscotti.
the leftovers.
Yeah. So, but that's exactly how it is. When you could smell when they're browning the meat inside the pan.
Yes.
You're not even out of bed yet, and you could smell the browning meat, the sausage, and the oil before the tomatoes even hit inside.
Yeah.
And you know right away what time it is, and you already know it's gonna be a good day. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a good day today. What about you, Sab? What happens over there?
Sundays was the best, That was our alarm clock. Wake up smelling tomato basil in the air. And all the pasta, the chicken cutlets too. We're the same way. Pasta al forno, but he's from like the western part of Sicily. They use anelette, the rings. We use rigatoni.
Sure.
So ours is a little bit more, this is different. It's both still good.
But the pasta al forno is
Pasta al
we
forno
all
is
know
like
no matter what
on the side.
pasta you use, it's the same basic principle.
Yeah,
You could either do it with a ground meat type of ragu or bolognese style of sauce, or you could do
Cheese,
lamb,
eggs, stuff
beef.
like that.
Yeah, and then some people put egg, whatever it is. I love it.
I
Pasta al forno is a thing that's gone away. It needs to come back. Can we bring it back or what?
Yeah.
Can people stop fucking around and get back to the pasta al forno, please? You know what I mean? Instead of the gravy.
Yeah.
Little meatball.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So we have a habit of making things ridiculously good, right? And it ends up helping the customer here because I do it just to try and impress them. Every time I test something, I give it to them to try this. And it's not because I'm trying to get approval. It's because I already fucking know it's good and I want you to feel this.
Yeah.
Taste this, man.
So
This is good. I want you to be happy. Eat this because I know it's going to put you in the same spot it put me. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I've already done that. I can do that. I already know that. I know I can cook. So I'm not worried about that. But I want you to feel this.
Feel something.
You can
like
hand
emotion.
it to somebody else and be like, if you give it to an American person who doesn't have that background, they'll eat it and be like, oh, that's good, chef.
good.
Yeah. What'd you put in that?
Yeah, they don't know.
What'd you put in that?
You put
You should be eating it going, oh, shit, I take you know what I mean?
But also the culture, when you said like the culture shock for you guys coming here because you're newer, like you've been here the least amount of time of everybody. The difference in cooking and men. So in Italy, like in the culture, men cook. You learn to cook. It's part of the culture, the passion, and people feel that. Here in the U.S., we don't have that. Most men don't cook. So, I mean, how shocking was that to you? Like when, getting used to that, coming here and women being like, "Oh, you can cook." Like it's surprising.
I don't know. It was a good feeling because you gonna show what you got and you bring all your culture here, and you try your best to make a good food.
Yeah.
And let them taste it.
So I want to know this. How I travel the world and there's no food better. I don't understand how much food culture is in that peninsula, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The country of Italy is not that big. But if you look at it when it comes to food, luxury, craftsmanship, everything that comes out of that little peninsula right there,
Concentrated in there.
it's so much in there. The flavors, the indigenous flavors, truffle d'alba, the tartuffe di bianco, the white truffle.
Yeah.
How is it only right there? The tree is a poplar tree. This is the name of the tree that grows, poplar. And they grow everywhere. They're in Maine, they're in here, they're in the woods over here. It's everywhere, but it only grows at the base of those trees in that area. How is this possible? It's the mecca of all things good.
Yeah.
Like to make a Parmesan Reggiano wheel, the 18 months, 24 months. If you go into those factories where they're just lined up head to ceiling like this, and you're walking down there, people don't realize how good.
Yeah.
You're walking down the hall. If you're walking through them, it's like the Red Seas, like Moses. You're on biblical level.
Biblical cheese.
You're in the Bible now.
Yeah.
It's like that. You know what I mean? So, did you ever wonder that? Like when you come here, you go to North Carolina, people love the barbecue. I understand. I get it. You took the pig. You did what you did because you grew up on that, and it's good. But in retrospect or comparison, they're missing so much of this barbecue process that could really make this thing crazy good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I make that for them, they're like, it's good, but it ain't like this. And I'm not downing them. It's just how different regions react to food and how Italy and Italians react to food. To me, the only other place I can see it, two other places I can see it, is Thailand. Because they are all about food there too. They have a great
food is
food
amazing.
scene. And there's other countries out there. Don't get me wrong. There's so many good countries. I'm gonna get
Greece. I mean, there's a lot of great
Thailand?
culture food. Yeah.
Thailand. Thailand is. If you ever eat Thailand, they
Now
do.
you gotta go.
Their ingredients are ridiculous.
I know.
It's not gonna happen.
To me, they have the connection of food like we do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of indigenous ingredients from the ground or from the animal.
Very
organic.
fresh,
And it's very fresh, very floral, very vibrant spices.
Noodles,
and that just could be because it reminds me of Italian food and the way the flavors are just crazy. Right.
It is simple, but it's good.
Very simple.
And it's on the opposite way of we eat. Same type of stuff. They got the noodles, but they cook it with such different flavors that it's a whole new world with the same type of experience.
Yeah.
So if you go to that, that's amazing. You just said Greece. Believe it or not, fellas, we got some bad news here.
Uh-oh.
This year is the first year Greece beat Italy as the #1 food country.
Really?
This year by 1/2 of a point on the judges' spectrum.
Half of a point.
Half
Wow.
of a point.
Okay.
5.9 to 6. And I can't remember what scale it was, but it's a big one that I follow for years as a chef.
Okay.
And for the first time, but now I go to Greece
Yeah.
as much as I can. I love Greece. And they have some phenomenal food. But we share the same waters, the same fish, the same thing. So I'm not, but they do have some stuff that we don't, that is good. If you get some good feta cheese, all that stuff. I mean, they do put together some really good things that are amazing. Octopus.
Yeah.
We're running that same thing. And if you go even further, you go to Spain, they also have some good food. The only thing I find with Spain is a lot of the ingredients are kind of meshing the same, and they all have that same. I can check Spanish food right now.
Yeah.
From Spain, you know what I mean? Spanish food, I could smell it, and I know exactly what it is, where it is, how it is, and it's delicious. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Their versions of their rices and the paellas and all that stuff is amazing. But I think that Italian food and Italian-American food is some of the best food on the planet. That's all I'm gonna fucking say.
I think most people, if you ask them what their favorite foods are in the world, I think always in the top 3. Like for anybody, doesn't matter where they live, what country.
If you don't like Italian food, I don't trust you.
No, I don't trust you. I can't trust you. If you don't like Italian food, I can't trust you.
Like, you're wearing a wire. Get the fuck away.
You're wearing a wire.
Like me personally, I only eat Italian.
That's it.
When I go out, if I don't eat Italian, I eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
I don't go out for Italian.
I don't go
cook it at home.
Chinese. I don't
Yeah,
go
yeah.
Vietnamese.
That's it. There's no point, really.
My problem is I have a hard time going out. Now I'll go to a nice steakhouse, a Thai restaurant during the lunch.
Yeah.
But I can't. I have a hard time going out because no matter what, I want browns, I want courses, no matter what. Even if I'm going to a restaurant at the beach, I still want
Family.
antipasto, and I still trying to look up to see if they have any type of pasta.
Yeah.
If not, I'll get a pizza, whatever. And I still want that. It's because I don't feel complete
If it's
unless
not
I'm eating that
experience.
way. I want pasta on my plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care what time it is. Nah. I want it now. Yeah. He knows what he's talking about.
I know.
So what about these guys that are taking the Italian? I'm watching these guys and I'm following social media. They fucking make me laugh because they're all doing it right because they're exactly doing what we did and we still do, but we do it jokingly. And they're totally doing it jokingly. You know what I'm talking about? These take care, brush your hair, and hey Mo, and what else is the other guys?
I can't remember those guys' names.
But they're all good guys. They're funny, and they really hit home with all this shit. But as an Italian, do you understand what's going on when they're doing this, or do you find it like mockery? Like insulting, or is it a joke? Because we know what they're doing because we grew up that way.
Yeah.
Or is it funny to you?
Yeah, it's funny, but sometimes I got offended.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why though?
Because they make a joke. They make a fun of us.
Yeah, they're getting. That's the funny thing.
They're making
What's
money.
the real, I don't know. Like I feel like offended a little bit.
Here's the thing though. I don't believe that they're making fun of Italian people. They're making fun of the Italian wannabe people. The fugazi and the forget about it and all that shit that's so stereotypical. You know what I mean?
Movies and,
Forget about it. Get a bar.
Like the old school mob movies. Everyone thinks that that's the way everything is.
Yeah.
And it's not, man. You know what? But it's funny though because we talk that way still.
Yeah.
I asked the other day.
We laugh at it. The gabagool.
Give me pass. Yeah, pass.
More
Right.
No, never marinara.
So it's funny though because when you're walking through the streets and you're in Brooklyn, for instance, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from.
Yeah.
And the gravy, believe it or not, gravy comes from Providence, Rhode. That term literally comes from Providence, Rhode Island, is where that started at Federal
American
Hill.
people think that gravy is a sauce.
Not American people. It's only a certain few. I never thought of it. But in Providence, Rhode Island is where it came from, and then I think it worked its way to New Jersey.
Have some gravy.
Yeah.
So, it's not a sauce.
I think
No,
it's,
that's right.
I mean, I would say I
Sauce.
think it's a sauce because I grew up in Midwest in Michigan, Detroit.
So
It
they
was a
called
sauce.
they called tomato sauce gravy there?
No, we called gravy.
Gravy.
Tomato
Gravy.
sauce was
We
spaghetti.
put gravy on turkey, right?
When
Roast
Tomato
beef.
sauce was spaghetti. That's all we had. We had spaghetti with red sauce on it. That was just called spaghetti. There was no different. I never learned sauces until I moved to Virginia.
So right, that's exactly where I started. So you're from the Midwest,
Yes.
where there's no
I had
Italian
no
culture.
difference between
Spaghetti
marinara,
sauce is,
pomodoro,
like a
nothing.
general sauce, like
Yeah.
red sauce.
I'm the only person with an Italian grandmother who did not cook. She was the worst cook on the planet.
Wow.
Like when I mean bad,
That's
it
why
was
they
so
shipped it to the
bad.
Midwest.
Like we had to eat like holidays was like the only she would put like the Jello with the pistachio. Like it was terrible. Everything was terrible. God rest her soul.
God.
She was a
Mint jelly.
terrible cook.
Really?
Everything was well done, burnt. It was terrible.
Where was she from in Italy?
My great grandfather was from Palermo. So
No offense.
yeah, I
Just
know.
saying.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry
On
to everyone in
camera,
Italian culture.
recorded for the whole world
I had the
to
one
see.
grandmother who could not cook.
Bro, listen, but
Yeah.
when I go to Italy, there's plenty of people. They're people too. They're humans too, and it doesn't mean just
Yeah, it
because you're
doesn't mean
Italian,
everybody's going to be
you know
a
how
good
to fucking
cook.
cook.
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
There's people over there burning water trying to
Yeah.
make pasta. You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just there's less sucky people at cooking there.
No, she was. Yeah. So
You know-
I never learned anything. Like, no, my great grandmother never spoke Italian. Nothing. They were very American.
Yeah.
So now, here's what scares me about the Italian heritage in cooking, okay? It is really becoming an issue because when we were growing up, whether you're in Italy, New Haven, Brooklyn, it doesn't matter. There was Italian immigrants and their young would take on and do it. So there'd be no problem walking through an Italian street and you smell the bakery. You go inside, you get the loaf of bread, you break it. You have a choice between your sourdough, your country, your Toscana, or your fucking semolina bread, whatever it may be. And you could break off that, eat it. It's delicious. It fucking...
That's
Now,
what fucking
who's...
right there.
You can't do that anymore. And it's not because people don't want it. It's because the younger generations of Italians, the fifth and sixth generations, could give a shit less.
don't know.
They don't want it until they get about 30 years old, and then they want it again. But now it's too late because the craft is gone. Now you have to go to the grocery store, the big package grocery store, and get that crap that they put there, and you're just sitting there again chewing the fucking Naples dough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, it's okay, Enzo. It's okay.
So it's
I'm sorry. He's about to have an aneurysm over
yeah, I'm about to get shot.
He's gonna throw something at some point. It's
He could
okay.
put in his 2-week notice after
Yeah.
this. This is bullshit.
there. 1 week. He's about to give up his citizenship.
Yeah, so he's gonna
Going back.
no, but you know what I mean. It's no, I love Napoli pizza. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a joke. However,
different.
when you eat that
I
fucking
want to
stuff,
go. I want to try.
oh yeah, we got to go.
We're
I
going.
wasn't
We're all going. We're all going.
So
We're not coming.
crunch.
No, well, yeah, I know.
But my point is though, is the craft is gone. I'm trying, and I'm no longer spring. I'm not young anymore. I still think I'm young. I still think I'm a younger generation trying to keep it going.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm 50 years old, man. I'm still thinking I'm a young generation. I'm the guy that needs to be replaced soon. But I'm worried about who the hell's going to replace me because the window is closing, man. It's closing, and it scares me that people are going to buy frozen meatballs and not learning how to make their own if it's meatballs is your style.
Yeah.
Now we know in Italy, meatballs isn't a big thing. It's more of an appetizer. You cook it in the sauce, give your sauce flavor, and then you eat the meatball by itself. A little ricotta cheese, maybe some bread as a snack or something at lunch.
Yeah.
But the spaghetti and meatball thing, that's another American Italian thing.
It's an adaptation.
It's an adaptation. And be
We're
honest
just
with
gonna
you,
do his face. We're gonna do your
when
face
it's
like
when it's
every
made
time.
right, it's not a bad deal.
No.
When it's made
still
right, it's not a
good,
bad
yeah.
deal. I'd rather have a great bowl of spaghetti and meatballs
Then
than a great steak.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I had a really good spaghetti and meatballs, I'm talking about a good one, and a really good steak, I would rather have the spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah. So do you have the review?
I do.
Okay. So
Should we
I
hit
think-
it?
So we need to hit. So we always do at the end of these a bad review, like someone who left a bad
the
comment
restaurant.
online. So he's gonna read it, and we're gonna let you.
Yeah.
You can go
I'm
off
gonna-
on them in Italian because they won't know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm
So
gonna-
curse them
I'll say it
out
in
in
English so
Italian.
they know.
Either. Yeah. Yeah.
With me.
Because it's your
You're
moment.
sitting here like
It's
you're,
your moment.
you're sitting here like
It's
you're
your
innocent.
moment, sunshine.
You're sitting
Come
here
on.
all innocent, like
You're the
nothing's-
purebred.
Yeah.
You're the purebred.
All right. We all know how the fuckery amongst us all is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talk some shit, and we have some fun, and we cook some great food, and we say madone, and we say we don't say mamma mia, do we?
Mamma mia. Sometimes, yeah, we get into it.
So I'm going to read this review. At the end of every episode, we used to read the reviews, and then we got so intense sometimes with conversations that are time. So now we're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back.
It's coming back.
The Italian job.
What it is this. We work our asses off. We're in the kitchen. We're producing our culture's food, and none of us would let something slide because it's not acceptable. We wouldn't accept it. It just doesn't happen. If something's not broken sauce, too much cheese, if something has to change, we change it. We don't let it go out. So I know that part of it's covered, right? Yeah. So I like to just attack, and here's one of my favorite ones because this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'll explain it why. Ready?
Yep.
I got to thank Miss Nikki over here. Nikki went and got our, as usual, behind the scenes over there, keeping it going. Yeah. I believe the restaurant is overrated. As a New Yorker, I'm familiar with high-quality food and service, so my husband and I were eager to try this place after relocating. We arrived without reservations on a Friday night around 6:45 p.m., only to be told that the hostess that we couldn't be seated until 8:15 due to the lack of a reservation. Disappointed, we head back to the car. I decide to check on Resi and discovered that there were actually reservations available starting at 7:15 for every 15 minutes thereafter. Feeling misled, I returned to the restaurant, where the hostess claimed a table had suddenly become available, but I knew that wasn't true because of the amount of reservations available. When we were seated in the back room, I noticed 3 unoccupied tables. Clearly, I hadn't been told the truth. Once seated, my husband asked to substitute chicken for veal in the dish, offering to pay the same price, but the kitchen refused. We opted for $80 dry-aged ribeye instead. Unfortunately, the steak was a major disappointment. The exterior was tough, and it hadn't been trimmed properly, and the steak lacked tenderness, making it far from worth the price. I ordered the Wagyu meatball and the gnocchi from the special menu. The flavors were good, but the sauce was overly greasy with a pool of oil surrounding my plate. Let's see. Dessert was all right. It was the highlight. I recommend it. Okay. Overall, while the ambiance was pleasant, the food fell short of expectations, and the steak in particular felt like a waste of money. All right. Now, I'm going to have to say this. You're absolutely right, Ziana. Zaina? What do you call it? Zaina? What does that say right there?
Zaina.
You're absolutely right. We absolutely lied to you. That really happened. We absolutely lied to you. We did not want you to come in here. We don't want customers. We manipulate Resi to lie, and we tell everybody they cannot come in. That is why I have won the Best Chef Award in 2024. Our restaurant that we produce the best fucking food. We won every fucking award possible in the state of Virginia locally. That's why, because we lie to you. We don't let no one in here. It's all a joke. So you're right. You're absolutely right. You nailed that one.
Yeah, got
genius.
That.
Okay. So this whole thing about you being a New Yorker.
Let Andrea take that.
You know, and I hate when fucking people say that because it makes, that's like 2% of the people that left New York because of that mentality, that they go other places and they flash it like it's a badge. Like, I'm from New York. I'm expert on fucking everything, including Italian food. just for starters. Second, being from New York doesn't make you an expert on fucking Italian food, especially with a non-Italian name.
First of all. So here's my take on it, bro. I don't give a shit if you're from New York, New Jersey, or anything.
Yeah.
If a guy came here from fucking Rome and said, this food is not right, now I'm going to listen to you. Yeah. I don't cook New Yorkan food. Yeah. I cook Italian food. We cook Italian culture. I don't cook, there's no New York food.
Yeah.
What is New York food? I understand people say, I'm from New York.
Some people think that New York is Italy.
I know. They tell me this.
Oh, I'm from New York.
Tell the chef I'm from New York. Hopefully this is good. Trust me, I'm from New York. I don't give a shit. What the fuck does that mean?
I'm from New York, okay?
You're from New York. What does that mean, bro? You know how many shitty restaurants are in New York?
What the fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot of shitty restaurants.
Do they even have a health department in New York?
I don't think so.
Doesn't mean anything. You're from New York.
No disrespect to New Yorkers, but the second you tell me you're from New York, I'm going to tell you right away. I don't give a shit where you're from.
Yeah, it doesn't
You could
matter.
be from fucking Cincinnati. What does that mean?
I know.
Okay, I'm not cooking New York food.
All right,
This is
so
not
let's
New
break
York
down.
food.
We're gonna let the sauce, like the saucier side, go.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So the sauce. Let's see.
The
Going
sauce had
into
a
the
pool
pasta.
of oil around
The
it.
sauce had a pool of oil in the gnocchi in the sauce.
Man, I'm sorry, I guess they don't like olive oil. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, really.
But really, was there a pool of oil in this? What pool of
It's
fucking
like
oil?
about how we cook. We got a standard over here.
What pool of oil is she talking about? I don't think she understands what she's
We
talking
transact-
about.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's talking about.
So now, if you take your gnocchi and you put your stuff in there, you put it out in the platter and everything, and you take your fresh olive oil and go over the top
Yeah.
of that, is that a pool of oil that you don't even understand what you're eating?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand what pool of oil you're talking about here. This is absolutely ridiculous. These are the type of now, as far as the lies, everything here is reserved out every night of the week. Every dinner time, we are reserved. Everything. If you walk in, customers will walk in and they'll see some tables open. You walked in at 6:15. Those tables are going to be here at 6:45. Again, I've said this a million times.
You can't sit down and eat in 30 minutes.
Right. It's waiting for the reservation.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want you. We're just kind of snickering a little bit that you thought you can get into the best place in town with no reservation, and then you're mad at us. Okay? We welcome walk-ins. We welcome everybody. We're not stuck up. I'm only talking to this level
This person.
because I'm combating their level of ignorance
Yeah.
when they put a post like this online, when my staff is the reason we are who we
Yeah.
are. Okay? I can't do it by myself. There's no way it would happen.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole team suffers when somebody says this. It's not just me. This just hurts my ego a little bit because it's bullshit. The dry aged steak. Learn how to eat a dry aged steak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
learn how
different.
right
It's
away.
not the
Learn how to
same.
eat a dry aged steak. When you have something that's been sitting on a rack for 44 fucking days, the whole point of it is to draw out the moisture, let the muscle fibers loosen on its own naturally, and then it breaks down and becomes tender in its own way because of the breakdown of elasticity in the muscle fiber.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science to it, and you have to know what it is you're eating. A lot of people think it stinks. It does. It has a funk on it. It's been sitting there.
Yeah.
A lot of the times the outside is drier and a little bit more chunky than the middle
Yeah.
because it doesn't dry from the motherfucking inside out. It dries from the outside in. So you trim it as much as you can, but that is part of the experience of eating it. And
Razione.
Yeah.
Right. People don't understand that. So when they take the first little bite of the first piece and it's a little bit dry, it's not, the title is dry age. It might be a little dry on the first bite. Get into the middle of it and you're going to die. You don't send it back after the first. You got to cut it down the middle and enjoy the process that took place. We know what we do. We don't dry age sides of prime beef at hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do it wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't serve it for $80. So Zayana can tell us we don't know what we're doing when we have people who are experienced in eating as a profession or as such a talent or a hobby that it becomes their life, telling us it's the best one they've ever had.
Yeah.
So am I going to listen to Olive Oil Girl or the fucking ones that come in here
So I
getting it?
think you should let them. They can close it out and
Yep.
tell people what they really think.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything on this chick.
I don't think she deserves any more time than
Yeah,
this,
she
so I
doesn't.
think
Yeah,
you
you're
need to-
right. You know what? You're right. That's why we work good
cool,
together because she'll stop me in this fucking
Yeah, he'll
train.
get into this for a while. So
Say
I'll let
something
you
about this fucking thing. And
Go
then,
ahead and
then
curse out.
You know what? Fuck you.
That's it.
Couldn't have said it better. Go fuck yourself.
Cazzo, cazzo. Basta.
I'm gonna book you, man. Fuck this shit.
No, it's okay.
I mean,
Hey, listen.
we take pride in what we're doing. You're gonna come in first off. You start with, I'm from New York. You know what? The fuck
Right
out of
away.
my face.
Right away. You're from New York.
Already with attitude and
Everything we
everything.
got here is,
Yeah.
That's for
high,
sure.
high quality products and stuff like
Now
that.
there are
You know,
good. There
so-
are reviews out there that get our attention.
Legitimate.
None of that was one of them because I know it's all her opinion, and I'm
all-
not basing
yeah.
what I do and what we've done on
Everybody's
her
entitled
opinion.
to their own
Right,
opinion.
exactly. And I'll take it. However, educate yourself before you go online and get tore up on my show because we have a way to come back, and we're gonna clap. We're gonna clap back at you. So here we are. Anyway, guys, it was great talking to you. We're gonna have another show because you always got to get the bugs out first, right? You got to get the nervousness out. And then we're going to have a good show. We're going to come back together here in the next season 3.
Yeah.
And we're going to just have a great show based on the Italian-American traditions. And we'll even maybe do some cooking and some experimenting and
I
shit
think the
like that.
cooking would be fun.
It would be
We
fun.
need that.
God,
Yeah.
I love it.
So now we just
go.
get warmed up and now our time is up. But anyhow, listen, I say it every time. Great having you. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Alla prossima.
Arrivederci.
All right.
Drink your Negroni.